Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today we're going to be drafting cards and decorating our Christmas tree in the appropriately titled Christmas tree. In this game, each player is going to have their own Christmas tree in front of them, and you're going to be decorating that tree with ornaments and candy and gingerbread, drafting cards, placing one, passing that hand along, getting a new one, and so on. You'll play 3 rounds of that. As you can see on the cover, or maybe you can't quite see it on the cover, this is the second edition of Christmas Tree, and I'll be doing a companion video to this one, comparing this version of Christmas Tree to the original printing of it. But for now, let's go ahead and dig into what the game looks like, how it plays, and then I'll tell you after that what I think of it. For this overview, I'm going to be showing you the expert version of the game. There is the normal mode, and then there's even a family mode, and all they do is basically simplify some of these concepts in the game. But we can jump right into the expert one, all right? So everybody's going to get a puzzle piece tree here made up of 3 pieces, and then everybody's going to get 4 of the Linzer cookies here. They're going to get a hand of 8 tiles from the shuffle deck. And then you're also going to draw 5 of these objective cards. And you are ready to begin. The game's going to be played over 3 rounds. At the end of those 3 rounds, there is a final scoring, and then whoever has the most of the snowflake tokens over here is going to be the winner of the game. So what you are trying to do in the game is create and populate and decorate your tree. And you're going to be doing that with the cards here in your hand. These cards have 3 things on them. You have ornaments, such as that one. They come in 3 shapes and 3 colors. You are going to have candies, and they're going to list a certain number of victory points in the center. Some of the ornaments will have those as well. And then you've got the gingerbread man here, and they are going to give you victory points based on what is around their 4 sides. All right? So the very first thing you need to do, though, at the beginning of one of those 3 rounds is pick one of your objectives, one of your goals for the round. You are going to look through these and you are going to pick one. So for example, let's say for the first round, I want to go for that one. I'll put the other 4 aside in front of me. And this one says I'm going to get a victory point for every round ornament. And then I'm also trying to have more than the other players at the table. I can add that to my hand of cards, and then I am ready to begin. So everybody is going to simultaneously take one of these cards. They're going to play it somewhere onto the board, and then we reveal them at the same time. We add it onto the board, and then we take the whole hand, including the objective that no one's seen yet, pass it to the next player. And then I get this player's hand comes to me, shows me their cards, the 7 that are still in it, as well as their objective. So now I know 2 of them. In the normal game, by the way, everybody would pick these and just put them on the table. So that's a small change in the expert mode here. And then we continue. So now from my new hand, I would take one and I would add it to the table here. So I might do this one. Obviously, I know I haven't changed my hand here. Let's just pretend I did. So I would do that there and add another ornament. And now I've also created a light there between them that is actually made up of 2 halves, in this case of the same color. I'm going to be scoring that later on, but we'll get back to that, okay? Another difference is in the expert mode, after I've played the first one, I must play adjacent to it. In the other modes, I could play way up here if I want to, but not this way, which makes it a little more tight, a little more tactically engaging and interesting. Then I take my hand, I pass it to the next player, and so on until we've played, all of us, 7 cards, and the very last one is just discarded. At that point, everyone's seen all these goals. In fact, after everyone's seen them, you can just put them on the table. And then we score based on them. So, we would just go down the line of these goals. Let's say I had, I ended up with 4 of the round ornaments. I get 4 points. And let's say that was the most of the table. I also get 6 points for the most. So I would take a 10 in snowflakes over here and put that in my score pile in front of me. And we do that for all of these objectives in play, all right? And then we play a second round where you are dealt 8 new cards, and from your 4 goals, you pick a new one, do it again, drafting the other way this time, and then yet again for the third round, at which point you're only going to have 3 of these objectives. You'll pick from those, and we'll play again. And then at the end of the game, you're going to score a couple more things after the last round is done. At that point, you're going to score your gingerbread men. So let me go ahead and put this right here and explain it. You're going to score all the points that are listed within candies and within ornaments in the center, as well as the lights, you know, these little lights that you might be forming as you are playing the game. So let's start there. The lights are the simplest. If you made a whole light, meaning the two halves are the same color, that's worth 2 points. The candies and the ornaments are going to have a number of icons in them. That's how many points you get. So 1 for that, 4 for that candy, and so on. And then the gingerbread man here, you are going to get 2 points for one, no matter what. But if you have the correct things that it needs at extremities here, then you are going to get more points. So, for example, this gingerbread man wants a round ornament there. That's done. And let's say it wants, if it wants a star up here, but let's say I did not do that. I put a candy there instead. And let's say I put a candy here, and I put one here. All right? So of these 4 around it, 2 of them are right. This is round, this is candy, this is wrong, and this is wrong. So I am going to get 2 would be nothing, 4 for one thing that's right, and then 8 points for 2 things that are right. In this case, 8 points. And that continues. That's just listed right on their buttons right there. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points, like I said, is going to be the winner of the game. A couple more things. The Linzer cookies here. You can use these and discard them to switch 2 cards on your board here. So I might, for example, let's say this looks like so. I might spend one of my Linzer cookies, get rid of that, and switch these 2 cards because it's going to give me a better scoring. And you can rotate them freely when you do so. The other option for one of these is you can discard one to just take something and rotate it without moving it, okay? At the end of the game, though, you will score victory points, 1 apiece, for each one of these you haven't used. And that's the game. So there you go. The goals are just a bunch of different, colors, or shapes of ornaments, maybe specific, patterns you are creating, that sort of thing. Everything you can imagine there is what they're going for. So now you have an idea of how this all works together, all right? Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, so there it is, Christmas Tree 2nd edition. Let me go ahead and dig into this one. I have to say, overall, I love drafting games, and this is a really solid one. It's one that's got enough going on. It's got a lot of charm and vibrancy to it that I enjoy without getting bogged down with minutia in it. So everything moves along quickly. I like it. Overall, very happy with it. There's one thing I'm a little bit disappointed by, so I'm going to start there, okay? And that thing is the aesthetics in the game. There's a lot of it I like, and there's a lot of high points, but some low points as well. So, for example, I love the cover. It's a very classy-looking cover. It's a good-looking game from just looking at it on the shelf and so forth. The cards are a low point for me. In fact, the original game came with this stack of cards here, and these have a bizarre finish on them. It's sort of like a fake linen, plasticky feel. They look like they were made from recycled shower liners or something. They're not great, and they show a lot of wear. The game, when we picked it up, came with a bag of cards that you were supposed to replace those with, and I did indeed. These are better, but they're still a little bit on the thin or sort of weak side. Some of them have frayed here in the sharper corners. So cards are not fantastic. The boards, the tokens are a high point, the scoring tokens. I like those very much. But then the boards, the way they cut the puzzle piece, means you're going to get one piece that looks like this, and these corners start to go almost immediately. I don't know if you can discern that, but these sharper corners have taken quite a beating, so they start to fray almost immediately. It doesn't look great. So again, the aesthetics are sort of a mixed bag for me, components and the look of everything. Everything else I do like, so let's run down that list, okay? The theme. I think it's a very nice theme. It's charming, it's attractive, it's well done. I enjoy it very much. It's different than the usual drafting or really any game, okay? Replayability. You got different modes, you have different scoring cards you'll see from game to game. So the game has a lot of replayability built right into it, and I like that. Game length, 3 rounds playing. It's perfect. That's ideal. It's a game that does not outstay its welcome, but it gives you enough to do. You get to fill in your whole tree, so it's going to look finished when you're done. I like that very much. The ease of play, very easy game to play. They have on the back of the rule book over here, they give you the, this one's the German one, but they give you the breakdown of all the symbology on the scoring cards. So that's available as well. It's pretty straightforward anyway, so I like that. It's a fairly easy game to get into, especially if you've played any other drafting games. But even if you haven't, this is not a bad one to jump onto that mechanism. And then lastly, tactics and strategy. I really like the mix of both of those things in this game. I think it's, you have your end game goal. You got to keep an eye on that. Your, the little lights you're putting together, sort of the gingerbread men, those combinations. But then you've got that scoring from round to round to round. And so keeping both in mind, not ignoring one for the sake of the other, and vice versa, I think really works well in this game. It's got a lot of good stuff going for it. So I really do enjoy this one. Christmas Tree is a really neat drafting game with an original theme that works well. And I am impressed by it. It sort of came along out of nowhere for me anyway, and really was a charming experience. So this is going to get a strong seal of approval from me. I really do recommend it. Again, check out my video comparing this version to the original version to see what I think of those two side by side and which one, all things being equal, I would prefer. Okay? So there you go. Thanks for checking this out with me, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.